morning now.
Oh, good morning. Yeah, it's lovely to see you.
It's morning for some people at least. I would you like to do this in Swedish or would you like to do it in English?
Oh, well, I can't speak Swedish.
Oh, I'm joking. I'm so sorry for yesterday because I was sitting here and I had everything ready and it was a wrong day.
Oh, no worries. Don't worry about it.
Yes. And before we begin, Elaine, I would have to say some things about why I'm going to record here and why I'm going to do this interview. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, it all began. I got in contact with you. Uh, of course, I have to say who I am. My name's Ingrid Nilsson, and I live in Sweden, in the southern part, in a place called Djursvik. In English, that would be Animal Bay. And I work as a medium, and I work also as a school teacher. But then there was this medium who said that I was a trance medium. So I started getting interested in it, and I stumbled over you. And I listened to you and I listened to Jonathan, and I thought it was amazing. And then I contacted you, and I got a reading with you and Jonathan. And then I've had you several times, and I invited you into my group. And I had you, I think, some weeks ago, where Jonathan said that I would be behind camera interviewing mediums in the internet and spreading it. So one morning driving to work, I thought, well, I think I'll begin with Elaine. And so here we are.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
I'm glad that you've started it because this could set the ball rolling for other people and that are into mediumship and all kinds of mediumship and healing, so they can get their word out there and sort of spread the light to the people and help them to know that they can find comfort in knowing that their loved ones are on the other side watching over them and they can go to be healed, all of that sort of thing. There are so many gifted people out there that just don't become noted for what they do. And well, yourself as well, it gives you a chance to let people know what you do. And thank you for having me on anyway. That's for having me on.
You look lovely today.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody says that. So
so do you.
Thank you. Every time you speak to you and Jonathan, afterwards, there's like millions of questions. So you want more and more and more, and you never get enough. But I was thinking if you could tell me a little bit about how you began and how it all started.
Yeah, how it all started was I went over to Ireland, and my ex-husband's father was living over there for a good few years. After living in England for a while, he decided to go over there, but he became ill and passed away in 1995 with prostate cancer at the age of, I think, about 52. And so years went by, and my children were still quite young then, so we decided to go over there and see the rest of the family. Having been there before, we made the long journey there to connect with them all again and remember his father, So we were there for about, I think it must have been a weekend or something at the time. And my children were still quite young, so we had 2 double beds, and the children were in one and we were in the other. And it was the last night there, it was the last night. So I decided that I'd lay down and go to sleep after not having any signs from my father-in-law coming through. I thought, well, I'll give up. I'll just lay here and go to sleep because we got the long journey home tomorrow. And I think I don't know how much time went by. It must have been probably a few minutes, actually. Wasn't really thinking about it, laying on my tummy. And out of the blue, I felt my stomach pulled in and my chest raise up. And I thought, oh, couldn't quite fight it or do anything with it. You know, it was totally unexpected. And this voice come out of me, which I knew must have been his father, because he was saying, son, I tried to love you. I always loved you. And that was it. And then everyone woke with a start because it was so loud, apparently. To me, it seemed like a quiet whisper, but a forced one. And he tried to talk to his son because he would have known how upset he was and that he probably would have wanted to hear from him. But of course, he didn't believe. So he said to me, did you have a nightmare? I said, well, no. And he said, oh, what's happened to you? Are you going nuts? I said, well, no, I'm not going nuts. I said, just happened. I don't know. And the baby underneath in the hotel, I don't know if they were the owners of this. There's a small kind of bed and breakfast there. And the baby was crying for a good half an hour after that underneath us. I could hear it. And I thought, oh, dear. Perhaps I frightened the poor little child, you know, I didn't know what to expect. And then my children said it was very loud. And of course, everybody returned to sleep. And eventually I got back into bed, got to sleep. I thought, well, I don't know. I want to find out what this was. I'm not going to let it rest. So I phoned my mother and father's friend, who was mediumistic herself, and she used to sit with my father, apparently, unbeknown to me. And I said to her, you know, what's happening? I've had something speak through me, and I wasn't sure what it was. Have you any idea what's happened to me? So she said, well, that's trance. And my dad had never explained anything about trance to me. Being a physical medium himself, he'd never really explained anything to me about it. So she said, well, I'm surprised your father didn't, but it's trance mediumship. And I said, well, what can I do to bring it forward a little more? She said, well, there's a lady that I know I can put you on to, and you can sit in her trance development circle if you want to. So it went from there, really. I started to make contact with them, and at first I didn't really like it because it was a kind of meditation class. The original lady wasn't there, so we just did a meditation to start with, which I didn't really feel comfortable with. I'd never done anything like that in my life.
No.
And so I thought I was questioning myself as to whether or not I should go back. And the other lady that was running the group originally was there that week. So she didn't ask us to do any meditation as such, just to close our eyes and go where we wanted to go. And it's just started. And at first, it wasn't Jonathan speaking. He didn't come till a few months later. So that's how it got started anyway.
But who was the first? Was there anybody else? Or?
The first I remember distinctly was a man named George. And I thought, well, I don't know any George. And whether anyone knows him in this room, I didn't have any idea. There's loads of Georges in spirit and on earth. But he made my body feel very tight, stiff, and kind of leaning to one side. And I didn't like it. I thought, well, if this is what trance is about, I'm not really into it, you know. And so he came through and spoke. And afterwards, when I came round, the other sitters had been going in to the trance, you know, and they said what they saw was it looked like the man had died of a stroke because the face was all to one side and his body seemed very, you know, like this and to one side. So I said to Spirit, I said, look, if you're going to come through me, I would not like you to bring your earthly illnesses with you because you no longer have them where you are. I understand that. So if you could come through me without your ailments, I would be more enthusiastic to come back here and do what I want to do. So after that, it stopped. And then from then on, I have no memory of who came through. As time went on, sometimes I'd just sit in the quiet and allow, you know, there were others there would bring their guides through and listen, and it was pleasant, you know. I really loved it. I got right into it. I started going every day.
I've never heard anyone speak like like a guide coming through like yours. I mean, I know somebody didn't really believe last time when you brought through Jonathan. It's like, they're skeptical, but I mean, I don't understand what they think. Are you going? It's man. He was talking about the planets, and he has such knowledge. So I mean, how is that going to work? And I remember the first time I spoke to Jonathan, he mentioned, I didn't know you, I'd never spoken to him, and he mentioned names that were very important at that time, and it wasn't my family, not from the family. And he said like a name, and you couldn't figure it out. So I mean, how are you going to do this if you can't just make it up? I mean, and
No,
I
it's
no,
amazing how spirit works through us and with us.
yes,
And the evidence of things they leave behind, like little things they leave, feathers and butterflies and things, all the signs in many ways they bring us, and how they bring this information through sometimes puzzles me as well. I think it's
mm,
just amazing how they can know these things when the
mm,
medium has no knowledge of it.
no,
I must admit, I've had readings myself, and wonderful readings. And one
mm,
mother said to one, sorry, not one mother, one medium said to me, one morning I went to the church and I thought, well, I'll have a reading. I'll see how it goes. And she brought through my mother and even mentioned the cottage. Nobody knew about that. No one.
mm,
It was only discussed between me, my mother, and perhaps my father that was still alive at that time. The medium
mm,
wouldn't have known, never met me in her life. And I thought, that's incredible. I'll never
mm.
do that.
But I must say, I have never that what you do. It's can you say extraordinary? Because I mean, it's I can understand it difficult to understand how it works, but I've tried it several times, and you want more all the time, and I guess you have a lot to do nowadays.
Yeah, so I've got quite busy. It's come from the YouTube, which my son originally set up about 7 years ago, and we just left it, and then we
Mm,
decided to make something more of it because people were wanting to know more about it. So I thought, well, I'll give my time to give the world more information about it. This is the only way we can get it out there. And he
mhm,
started doing a couple of videos and just left it at that. And time went on, and he decided to sort of rekindle it again and open it up big time. And the response
mhm,
we've had is amazing. I mean, I thank everyone for their support they've
mhm.
given. And
And
oh,
now we're going to spread it in Sweden.
yes, yes, it's lovely that you can spread it in your language because
Mhm.
unfortunately my guy doesn't speak in Swedish,
No.
and I don't. I suppose they're relying on your brain as to what
Mhm.
knowledge or what language you're used to they speak in. There has been one time where briefly a woman's father came through in our circle and spoke in a foreign language to her, and they were having a brief conversation in her language, which I had no idea of.
No, it's strange, but
I know.
it's amazing. And I feel like when you speak to or listen to Jonathan, it's like he is really a person, but he is a soul and all. But he is so polite, and he is. I learn a lot of English of him. He could be a school teacher in English. So he has really good English, and he's so you can feel he's from a different time.
Yeah, you can. It's
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard posh people speak before, but and they sound lovely, but it's just the way they presented those words in their time is totally different to the English language today. It's well, most of it's basically the same if you're going to speak well to do, but it's I don't speak like that.
No,
I'm not
no.
a posh person by any means, I had no idea. Even when my son and his friends sat with me one day and asked me to bring my guide through, and they said to Jonathan, what's your surname? So there had to be no thought about it at all, no hesitation. He just said Hunter. And I thought, well, that's so strange because you could think of any name, but that just blurted out.
Yeah. But in past life, that was it was somebody you were in love with, really, or
yes. So when he first came to me in my neighbour's house, she's not living there anymore. That was when he first presented himself. I can't remember who came through or what was said before that, but at the end, he presented himself, and I felt the love, and I've never ever felt anything like that in my life. You know, you have the love of your children and your families here on earth, but my whole body lit up. And I can't even begin to describe how it was. I mean, other people have probably felt this love from heaven. They would have felt it. I'm not the only one, but even they would tell you that the love is incredible and you feel it for the whole of your body. Never experienced anything like it. And that's how I knew that he was genuine, because of what I felt. And I don't feel that every time now. I just feel safe, loved. Sometimes my heart center lights up and I feel a wonderful, exciting feeling going through my heart. What he gives to me, I should imagine. But wow, the love is incredible. There's nothing to match it here on earth. Nothing.
I can understand. But in ordinary life, when you paint and all what you do you feel his presence?
Yes, I do. I feel it. I feel like he's standing there watching me paint, and like the others are coming in to have a look at what I'm doing, and the person who I'm painting for, perhaps their loved ones come in and say, well, this is what we want, or their guide might come in and help them. It's amazing. Some of the paintings have been messages for people, absolute strong messages, and I've had no idea. I've just painted what I've seen in there. I used to add things to my paintings, but Spirit said, we don't want you to add things for a bit. We want you to paint our message, paint what you see within the picture. And I thought, well, I'll do what they want me to do. So I've put aside all the bits and pieces that I used to put in, although I enjoyed doing that. I think that he said, we want you to paint from the heart so that the message can come through properly. And oh, that's made me happy.
You should be in I just felt you should be in the Oprah Winfrey show. Yes, because I mean that would really spread it.
Yes, so I remember the old Oprah.
You don't understand how unique you are.
Yeah, I think she's quite spiritual herself, isn't she? Yeah, she is.
Maybe that will come.
Maybe one day, yes, you never know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I have to ask you one thing more. There's another little, is she a lady or is she a child? Because Jonathan brings in another energy.
Yes, that is Sophie. That's Sophie. Now, I had no knowledge of Sophie. My mother's friend, who they were friends for years, and her friend had a daughter and two sons who I still know now. And her daughter, apparently, she never told us this because we were kids, you just don't discuss it. And my mother's friend was in our circle with us because she used to sit with my father for over 30 years. She sat in his circle. So one night she was sitting in our circle, guiding it and helping us. And she was sitting to the left of me, and this little voice came through saying, I'm Sophie. And it turned out her daughter had a miscarriage. And she had said to her mother, well, if the baby had been a girl, I wanted to call her Sophie. Well, my mother's friend was the first one she'd went to, and she would have been her grandmother.
And she always comes now? Oh,
yeah, she seems to come in on the readings now sometimes, not all the time, but she started coming in, and she said she wants to learn how to communicate and bring things across. You know, she's learning from Jonathan and from the other side. I don't know what else she's doing, but she's definitely learning how to communicate, and every so often she peeps in and starts to talk.
Mm. Yes, because they need to learn as well.
Yes, they do. Yeah, all the souls in the heavens that are going to communicate, they all need to learn how to communicate. I don't think it's that easy for them. They've got no human body anymore, so that they haven't got a voice as such. I mean, they do communicate with us audibly and within our mind, and sometimes physically if a person's lucky enough to see them, or in this world, or in their dreams state, they usually talk to them. That's how they have a voice. But what I want to say is that a voice of spirit is a voice for the people, isn't it? To help us.
Yes.
If we've heard our loved ones or had a message from our loved ones, then that's going to be a big help. It's going to help us to realize that they love us and they're still with us.
I must say that I have felt much more calm since I had contact with you and Jonathan.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes, really. It's something happens like you. I can't explain it, and I think the people in the group also feels the same.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm
Yeah.
glad you felt something from it, because what it does is it helps me, what do you say, be encouraged and to be having faith in them rather than doubting in myself, which I doubted for years. And we all do the same. We all doubt for years, some of us, and we think, oh, maybe it's us, or maybe it's just our wishful thinking that they've said that. And then when the evidence comes, you think, wow. And then you doubt again, because you may get somebody that you can't connect with. You can't connect with everybody, you know. Obviously we're human, and sometimes some of the spirits are better than getting through than others, or some people are more open to receiving than others, and so we tell ourselves off, we doubt ourselves and say, oh, it's wrong and it hasn't gone right today, and that sort of thing sort of discourages us a little bit, until the next time somebody would come along and you'd say, well, they've had a good reading today, I feel good about it. Don't give up just because one doesn't connect with you, and they might be discouraging you, or saying you're no good and all this. Sometimes they're just not ready to receive, or the connection hasn't gone too well. And there are days of the best of people that they just can't connect. And some days it's a fabulous connection.
And then there are some people, I think, that doesn't admit that what comes through is true. They don't want to.
Yeah, sometimes they can't relate to certain things, and they come back to you, don't they? And they say, oh, yes, I found out, I've gone away, like you said, and I found out the information was to be true. And then they come back to you and tell you that. I expect you've probably had that yourself. You've said something to them in the reading and they couldn't relate to it. Then they go away and ask their family members, come back to you and say, you're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know I had someone now recently, as I was talking about a tooth, and she shouldn't eat something. That's what came through, a toffee.
Yeah.
And she couldn't relate to that, but she said she had eaten toffee the day before. And then I got this mail of another lady who was there, that she had something had happened with her tooth the day before, but she didn't want to say that. And I mean, it's such a simple thing. It's nothing.
I know, you wouldn't think it, but they know, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know why maybe they get afraid. I don't know, but I mean, it's nothing dangerous.
No, it's not. I think I mean, I had a message from a friend of mine who said, well, your father says that you've not been folding the bags up and you've just been throwing the bags in the cupboard. Any old how. And I said, well, I have. I said, that bugger's been watching me. I've not tidied the cupboard up, and he was letting me know that he knew about it. Well, no one could know that.
No.
no one would know. That person would not know anything about that. And
Mhm.
that's just little things like that are amazing.
Yes, it's small things, but it's I'm happy that it happens things like that you get signs and all things. So you should be happy for it, I think.
Yeah, I am. I am
Yeah.
happy that he's come through many a time through these mediums and given lovely evidence. So, what I would advise is be open to receiving a message from your loved one, because you never know, they're watching us and we can't see them, but they can see us, and they're just wanting to know how we're getting along in life. That's all they're wanting to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um, I can think that there's a lot of envy. Is that the right word? Uh, Now, I'm not saying that you. I just feel that you are special with this, or maybe it's a wrong word, but it's a bit different because when Jonathan comes in with his own voice, and I mean, everyone who wants to work like that would really want that. So I think there's a lot of envy from some
Yeah.
people,
I
or
mean,
do you?
I think you should just let your guys come through as they want to. They know what they're doing, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not so much about a voice as such. It's about what they give, the love they give.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had mediums. Their voice doesn't really change, but their persona changes. It's like it's not them anymore. It's even if their voice hasn't changed, it's the way
Mm-hmm.
the words are presented and the way they act within the trance, and you know whether or not it's genuine. And I've been in touch with a few trance mediums and watched them, and they've been fabulous. I've had mediums in my group, and they've not done anything like that before, but they were amazing,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely amazing. They didn't take it anywhere, but we had one woman who used to run our circle, and she brought an Indian through, and his name was Chief Yellow Hawk. She had no idea of any Chief Yellow Hawk or who was going to come to her as her guide, and she found out afterwards all the information about him was true.
Mm-hmm.
And as she went into this trance, her face would completely, from the side view, change, and he would position her differently. And it was so real. And I thought, wow, you're just fabulous. And other mediums that their guides would heal and speak to us, they were all brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I felt like I was sitting in a room. But I mean, one evening they all sat there, and they were all meditating before they were going to go into their trances. And I felt like the room was washed with an energy you couldn't believe. It was like, I feel like I'm sitting with a load of old souls, guides that are here with me. I feel so protected and loved. And they would have their eyes closed and relaxing, but I could feel spirit there. And I thought, that's amazing. I feel so loved,
Mm-hmm.
protected. And, it's like the room emptied of everything and they all came in.
Mm-hmm. You always have a prayer before you do it as well.
Yes, I do a prayer before and a
Mm-hmm.
prayer afterwards. And when I used to do the group, we do a prayer, and then my friend Pam would do a closing prayer at the end. So
Mm-hmm.
it was lovely. Always taught how, with my mum and dad, they always said prayers in their circle before they started, and at the end of it. And you had to sit in the circle, and you had to um, think good thoughts. Don't bicker with one another or be envious or whatever, jealous of one another. Just sit with good thoughts in your mind, and that's what you'll receive. You'll receive good spirit in your circle, and genuine as well. You'll know if they're genuine or not. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's I think it's wonderful. These mediums are incredibly gifted,
Mm-hmm.
and I cry when I see young ones come in here, and they're young and they're spiritual. I get emotional. I think,
Mm-hmm.
wow, what a gifted person you are, and take it out there and show it to the world. Don't just keep it in a corner somewhere. Let people know you've got. So it does make you quite, when you see young people that are old souls, I get a bit emotional, I must admit. Silly thing I do.
I
Yeah.
mean, you notice when you work with children that a lot of children are very open, but they don't know it.
Yes, I've seen children that have even been old souls. They kind of look at you and it's like they know something. It's like they know. I mean, I was even walking along a road once past the school, and this, I think it was a woman, had a dog with her. And every time I looked back, the dog looked back. And I thought, oh, I'm going to try something. So I looked back, the dog looked back. I looked back, the dog looked. I did it about 6 or 7 times. And every time I looked back, that dog looked back. Kept staring at me. And I thought, my goodness, that's so strange. What is that? That dog knows something. Yeah.
He remembers, do you think, or?
It must remember. It must see something that I don't see. And it's like the dog knew something. And then the next time I see another dog talking to someone, the dog was growling. So I thought, well, maybe some dogs are spiritual and know, and maybe some dogs are not so comfortable with it.
No.
They kind of, oh, I don't know you. I'm gonna growl at you because I don't know you. So some dogs and pets run away from things that they see, and some are trusting, just like us humans. You know, that was the most strangest moment.
Before, I remember Jonathan said I was going to have a pet. And before he said that, I was having a reading with this lady. And I told her, here's a red cat in my knee. And she said, oh, I hate red cats. And it wasn't alive. It was a spirit cat. And I said, well, give it some sweets, cat sweets. We'll call it like. No, but the cat wouldn't go to her. And then Jonathan said to me, you will be having an animal. And then my daughter, she got some kittens. And she didn't know what to do with them. So there was this red cat that came to my home, Melker. So it was him that came to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he came before to show him from me.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes. I feel he's very spiritual because sometimes when I film the orbs, I can see him watching them.
Yeah.
They come out from the wall and I can see he looks at them.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah. So I thank you for the cat.
That's all right. I love cats. I adore them. I love them.
You have a cat as well.
I have 2. Yeah, I've got Monty. He's a big cat. He's like a black short-haired cat, and the other one is a tiny little fluffy sort of black and with a little bit of grey in her, and she's gorgeous. But she's very timid. That cat. If she sees anyone come in, she runs and she doesn't know them. Some people she'll trust, she'll be all right with, but if workmen come into the house, she's terrified.
Yeah.
And she's so expressive. I mean, my daughter put a video on of me going into trance on her TV, and the cat was mesmerized by it. She said she stared at you like she knew something.
They maybe see it differently. I don't know.
I don't know, but apparently cats and pets can see into other dimensions that we can't see.
And maybe they see the spirits coming through.
Yes, I did a painting quite a few years ago. I think it was back in 2015, and I sold it to a lady, and she said her cat sat in front of it for ages staring at it. And she said she was mesmerized by it. She wouldn't take her eyes off it. I put it on the floor ready to go up on the wall, she said, and the cat just stared at it.
Strange.
Yeah, it's like she knew it was heaven. Perhaps she knew it was the pathway that pets go into heaven. I don't know.
Yeah, it's there's so much we don't know. Elaine, are you intending to bring through Jonathan for a short to
Yes,
show him? Or yes?
yeah.
Do you think the time is here?
Yes, that's right. I've said the prayer beforehand in case you wanted him to come
Hmm.
through. So
Yeah, just for a little short, and I won't keep it long. I have just going to ask him two questions
okay.
so that we can hear him, and then I will tell him to go.
I won't put any music on because sometimes if you put music on, it's copyrighted. So I'll just go into the trance in peace and quiet. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Hello to you, my dear.
Hello, Jonathan, and thank you for coming.
You are most welcome, yes.
Now, do you remember last time I spoke to you? You said I would do interviews with mediums.
Ah, yes. You have begun. I am very
Yes.
excited.
Yes. So I started with Elaine here.
Yeah.
Have you anything you would like to say here today?
Well, I think that I would like to say thank you for inviting Elaine to be here, and I am very happy to come through and give assistance to anyone that would need it, of course. And I would say that it is wonderful that you are deciding to spread the light further around parts of the world that would not normally understand what I was saying, speak in another tongue. So you see, they will be able to understand it through your existence. And I think that once they absorb the information that I shall give in most of my speakings, that they are to understand that there is a mass awakening taking place on your earth and in heaven. We are joining you in your awakening, in your discovery of oneself, in the discovery of the higher self, which that is what you tune into to connect with our world. So I would say believe in what you are given. Do not doubt yourselves. Of course, it is human nature to doubt and to question things and to investigate things. That is normal behavior, I should imagine. But we don't want you to keep doubting yourselves. So what we will say to your people of the earth is that heaven exists. When you go off of this mortality, off of the world to home again, you pass over to a beautiful place that is magnificent, which that you call here on earth heaven. Well, we call it heaven too, because that is just what it is. It is heaven, it is paradise, it is anything of a positive nature that you wish to call it, that is of a description beyond words. Most people fear death, but they are only fearing how they are going to pass. Once you pass, that fear is gone. Your soul is free. So really, death is freedom. But we don't want you to go before your time. We don't want you to force it upon yourself. We want you to live your lives and to rediscover yourself spiritually so that you can see our magnificence, so that you can experience it for yourself and give it to others. And this is how we come to you, through your wonderful computers. We come to you in many ways, but this was the best way that it could be. This was the only way that it was going to spread around the world that easily. Not only with Elaine and I, but other mediums all around the world that would choose to bring it in many languages and many ways. That is what we shall say to you is, love yourself and love one another. We shall say to you that forgiveness is the greatest love of all. And once you forgive each other in this life, a weight shall be lifted off of your shoulders, and you shall live the life to the fullest. We shall say that we come to heal sometimes, and on occasion a miracle happens when people on the earth come together and pray, and then we come to heal and the miracle is created. And the person that needed the healing can live their lives again. So please give your miracles to people. Give your spiritual love to people that you have experienced. Try not to hide it away. Some of you are a little shy to put it out into the universe and out there to the people because you fear being ridiculed. Unfortunately, there is always going to be negative and positive in your world. That is the way life is. But if you see the lesser and the greater, the positive and the negative, you will find that the positive is greater than the negative. Don't concentrate on the negative, concentrate on the positive of what you have achieved and what you have given to people. The minute people see negativity, they stick themselves to it and they get angry. They get upset, they get disappointed with their journey because somebody has ridiculed them. But they forget about all of the people that have supported them and loved them and agreed with what they were saying. You will find out, all of you, that this is real. When you go to the other side, you will experience wonder as well. You will experience unconditional love beyond belief. If you are sad and thinking about your life not being very good at the moment, go inside of yourself and begin to see how wonderful you truly are. See what potential that you have to give others and yourself. And do not be afraid to give back to yourself either. You are not being selfish if you are giving to others and yourself. Look at it as, well, I'm going to give myself a reward for all of the good things that I do. And the reward that I shall give myself is love and appreciation of what I do for myself. You are not going to be punished for that. And if anyone should punish you for that, then they are at fault. But we are not here to judge. We are here only to give you our knowledge, our experience of our world, and evidence that it exists. We hope that you absorb the information and see it as useful to yourself in your daily life. Many of you will have already had spiritual experiences. You may be mediums yourself, healers yourself. Please do carry on. Don't give up on yourself. Do not doubt yourself. You are always on the right track. There is nothing more right than spirituality, because it is freedom. There is no conditioning with it. There is no judgment, only from the earthly people. So you see, it brings about freedom of consciousness. When the soul passes to the spirit world, that is what you shall become, just consciousness, but you are absolutely free. In your world, there is conditioning. There is subliminal words to make you doubt yourself. Turn away from those. Look at every sentence that you say in life. Does it have a negative word within it? Take that word out and change it to something positive. And then you will find yourself doing positive speaking. And then maybe you can teach others how to do it. You are all a part of this world, and it is in the universe, along with its counterparts. And you are also part of that universe, because you are in the universe. You are floating about on a planet in the universe, but the planet also has a soul too. And so do all of the other surrounding planets. There are many that you will probably never discover, and some that you will. The universe is God, God is the universe, and everything that ever was, ever is, and is going to be. Remember that. You could go to that source any time that you so wish, no matter where you are or what you are doing. You could be sitting in the bathtub and you could pray to God. It is not religion. It is consciousness connection to something that is magnificent beyond belief, that has an empowerment of unconditional love, an understanding of you and others. You are not going to be scorned for praying in the bathtub. You see, even our essence is continued on the other side, the sense of humor, because there is only happiness where we are from. Imagine living in a place where there is no judgment, no arguments, no animosity. Imagine living in a place that is so beautiful and full of love and light and truth. This is where we are coming from to connect with you. Do not see it as imagery or imagination. It is true. If we can come through on your equipment and you can hear a voice that is not coming from a medium, you will know us to be true. Even if we are speaking through a medium, we are still true. So do not doubt. Go out there and discover yourself, because you are part of it, along with everybody else in this world. Some will not be spiritual in their lifetime. They will perhaps say it is wrong, it is evil, but it isn't. If you are doing it in the right way, in the light, then it is perfectly full of love and truth and promise. Do not use your ego to be greater than another and say, well, I am better than them. Because you are all unique. You all have something special within you and within others. They may just present it in a different way. So don't try to be greater or lesser than anyone. Just be yourself and do things in the way that you do it. Never mind about what anyone else is doing it. They will do it in their own way. If they do it in a way that you are not liking, then it doesn't matter, because you are the only one that can live your life. You cannot live theirs. Let them get on with it. They will discover. You will discover. What is it mattering if another is not pleasing to you? Let them live. Let them make the mistakes that they are supposed to make and grow from them. And you will do the same. Where spirituality is concerned, it's not about greater or lesser than another. It is not about a competition of who is best and who isn't. As long as you are genuine, what does it matter how experienced or not experienced you are? You are still doing something wonderful. Even if you are at the beginning of your journey, time will tell that you will become greater than ever before. And you will lose your doubt and go out and give a message that is wonderful to a person that needs it. You will change their lives, and that will change your perception of what our world is about. You will no longer see it as a fantasy, but a reality. That is the information that I shall give. But this is not even information, really, it is guidance. I would say be true to yourself, as I always say. Do not look to others' opinions of you, unless they are positive, of course. If they are negative opinions, then just use it as an experience. Go in another direction to what they are going. You know that you are real. If they do not think so, then let them get on with it. I would say, begin your journey with you yourself. Look to yourself at the beginning. Look to what is truth. Look to what is you. You are unique. You are special. You are loved. You are never doubted from us. We love you unconditionally. Always. And you may think, well, one of my family members were terrible in life. They're surely not going to change in spirit. But they do. They become more understanding. They may go across with regrets, and they look at what their lives have been, and they say, well, I would like to make things right again. Maybe they will reincarnate to do that. Or maybe they may send signs to their loved ones and lead them to better places, to help them, to guide them, to make up for all of the things that they didn't do in their life. We can do that, you know. We give you little reminders, we give you encouragement. We guide you to these places. But we will be sending many more signs to your world in big ways. We want you to know that. It is coming. And you would ask, what is it? Well, there will be many different ways in which we shall present it. That our world, our connection to you is ever stronger. And it shall become more and more, until the light washes over your world, and you can no longer deny our world. You can no longer deny our connection to your world, and not think that it is not real. It is. It doesn't matter how you will scorn me. I will still come through and say to you that it is real, and there is no doubt. Lose your fear. You are frightened. of what shall be? Do you think it is ashes to ashes, dust to dust, and a non-existence after that? Well, then what would the purpose of the whole of this life and this beautiful universe and everything that is in it, everything that lives, what would be the purpose of it? What would be the purpose of the conscious connection on earth and our world beyond if it was not existing? If you were evil, what would be the purpose of your life? To live another life and create betterment of yourself? You've got to ask yourself all of these questions. The existence of beauty, how did that get there? Well, everything has a purpose, you see. A bird will drop a seed and plant it, and a tree will grow. So that bird had a purpose. It was beautiful. It did something to create life on earth, and it did something to give life. The tree breathes life into you, you breathe life into it. So everything in the world has a purpose, right down to the last grain of sand, the smallest of insect, the largest of mammal. And that includes all of you. You have a purpose. Never say that you do not have a purpose in this life, because you do. But it is only you that makes that purpose. It is only you that drives it with passion to create that purpose. Never see yourself as no good for anything, because you are all good for something. Every one of you are special, unique, but as one, as a consciousness with this world and the next. I shall come again and speak to the people, and I shall keep coming. And I shall keep saying these things to you. And then perhaps you will listen to yourself, not just me. Listen to yourself, listen to your soul speaking back to you, telling you, yes, this is right. That is all just guidance for you. Whether or not you want to take it and use it as something and then create it into something that is seeable, doable, and existable, it is entirely up to yourselves. Keep questioning, yes. Keep investigating, yes. And if you doubt, ask for more. We shall give it to you. One day there will be absolute proof that life after death exists. Through scientific experiments that are already taking place on your earth, there are so many near-death experiences. If there was no activity within the brain, how could that even exist as a fantasism or thought? It couldn't possibly. Because if the brain is brain dead, then how can it even think? So that proves to you that consciousness lives on after physical death. And that is what is alive within you at present. You are a consciousness within a physical being that is existing because the consciousness is alive within it, and the physical brain and the heart is beating, keeping you alive. Thank your body for being alive. Thank your body for being able to discover new things to keep you in this world alive. And you would say, well, we don't want this world, Jonathan. We love ourselves, maybe, but we are living in a terrible world. You're only seeing it as that because you are taking note of all the negative that is going on. There will be the souls that come to the earth to bring the earth's people to truth. And every truth shall be risen to the light. It shall be, no matter what any one of you say, your truth, all of it shall surface. So be true to yourself in the meantime. We are not here to punish or damage you. We are here to say that truth has to come to light, and it shall do. The darkness shall be no longer shielded. it shall be brought to truth and light. We shall let you know. We shall keep sending you huge signs, and they will get more and more prevalent. Look within you, look around you, and look above you. God bless you all.
Thank you very much. You're back. Did you hear what he said?
Well, I can't remember every single thing of it, but I can hear what he says. Yeah, I'm able to hear. I've got some people go into a deep trance, which is quite rare, but they go into it and they don't know what's been said at all when they wake up. But I think the majority of trance mediums go into that state where it's like a self-hypnosis, and then the guide takes over from there, and they can hear what's being said, but they have no control over it. And every now and again, little bits will be missed, forgotten about. They can't remember it, they can't recall it, unless the person that spoke to them says about it. They say, well, it might come back to you after it's been said, and you think, oh yes, that's come back to me. Or you think, well, oh, don't have any memory of that, that's completely gone. But you'll have experiences in that state of mind as well, sometimes quite profound ones, and they'll always stay with you. I mean, mine have always stayed with me during trance state and dream state, you know. So I think the mind is so clever.
Really? Well, he was talking about forgiveness and not going into the negativity.
Yeah, I think we do tell ourselves off sometimes. I do it myself all the time. I can't pretend I'm not perfect. You know, I get angry sometimes. I get sad sometimes. It's all our emotions just rolled into one. But sometimes we feel fear, and fear is just really what we've created inside our own minds. And I fear all of the time. I wish I wouldn't sometimes.
Yeah.
I feared when I came to doing this for the public eye, and you know, it hasn't been easy for me. It hasn't. I'm not a person that takes any judgment very easily. I tend to hold on to things, and after a while, I just think, well, got to get on with it.
That's what he said. We shouldn't bother about it. Like,
but we do. I mean, sometimes it's easier for them to say, but it's just a human emotion. We want to see the best of ourselves, and we don't want to see ourselves in a way that another person would be nasty to us. It would upset us because we're human.
I mean, I believe everybody would like to get rid of negativity and bad memories, but it's not always that easy.
It's not. You know, as soon as you recall the bad memories, it's going to make you emotional. It's true. It will do. It's only normal. We think we're the only ones, but there are so many other people that are suffering in some way. We just can't see it because they don't show it to us.
No.
It's because it's all in the mind, you can't see. And when they tell you about it, you begin to understand that you're not always the only one that's got fear within you. There's plenty of people that go through it in life, and you've just got to kind of get past that fear, even if it isn't easy. You've got to look past it and say, well, right, this is it. This is my path now, whatever it is you've chosen to do, and step forward with courage and integrity, and just be yourself. I think that's I think I find that when I'm not judging anything, I feel good about myself. And when I am judging something or when I feel all uptight inside, I always feel worse. So we all do it. We all judge things. We all do it. I don't think there's one person that doesn't judge something.
No.
Unfortunately.
I think we do it just watching TV, somebody's clothes or we judge all the time.
And we don't realise what we're saying and doing, to be honest.
No.
And I think, although we're still loved, we have to see our judgment when we get to the other side. We have to see who we've judged and who we haven't, and who we've understood and who we haven't. That's what I've heard from near-death experiences. If you watch them, they're some of the similarities of how they had to take stock of their lives and they were sent back again to change it. I think it's amazing. I absolutely love it. I don't watch it every day. I just every now and again it just comes up on my screen and I think, I'll listen to that. And the things that they see are all different, but they're all beautiful what they see, and I think, wow, you're so lucky.
Have you seen the movie on Netflix, Surviving Death?
I think I have, yes. I've seen a few movies about where people have died and had an experience of coming back again. It's amazing how they describe it, where they go and all that. All of them are different, but have similarity of the light and everything else. So I would recommend taking a leaf out of their book in believing that the afterlife is real. If you have any doubts, take a leaf out of their book, watch these near-death experiences, listen to what they say about their experiences, and they're usually said with passion. So I would say take note of that, because I don't think you could really make something like that up.
No.
You take thousands of these experiences and they've all got a similarity, and there's different journeys with each of them that have had the experience. They all describe it differently in most ways. And when they describe it, wow, it's incredible to listen to. So if you listen to that and you're skeptical, take note of these near-death experiences that my guide has mentioned, because yes, like he said, you couldn't, if your consciousness wasn't alive in the physical body, you couldn't possibly think that up.
No,
you couldn't.
When I've had when you and Jonathan has been here, when I have had the circle, it's a little bit more different, because it felt more like today of course he was talking to the world, for those who's going to listen to this, but it's a little bit serious, and still not, but it is a bit serious. Can I say that?
It is. I think big things are coming. I've always felt that for quite a few years. I'm not sure what, but I just think something is just happening, and all of this, what has happened, has all got a purpose for something yet bigger to come. I don't think we should fear that. Just see it as something good, because every time I experience the feeling of it, it never feels bad. It always feels good. It always feels exciting and lifts your heart up. There's nothing, and I think other people have felt things are coming, but some of them are thinking, oh, is it bad? Is it good? But I only ever feel that it's something big and it's something good. Will come of it, so it's...
Yes, I was sitting here in my garden one day, and you float away, but I don't know if this is right, but I got it like it's a great light. It's not like it's not like God in a human body coming. It's a light that is come to spread in the world.
Yes, I mean, people have seen that in I can't think what it was now. There was a light coming from the sky that they videoed, and they thought, well, perhaps it was like a UFO. But I believe that there is a light coming too. And I'm looking across at your Jesus there. That's a beautiful picture of him. And I
Yes.
believe something is coming that is very powerful and do something to change us all. But we have to go through the bad and negative that before we get to it, before it comes, and then eventually say, right, enough's enough. Here I am.
Yes. But and it's like he said, it's not religion. So I mean, I believe in Jesus, but not in a religious way.
Yes,
More,
I believe in him, and not in a religious way. I think he was sent to this earth to heal people and help them in those times to realize the expansion of our consciousness, the limitlessness of the universe and everything. But they didn't understand then. They didn't understand. There were societies that did understand, that, like the Egyptians, the Mayans, and all of that, had some sort of connection to the universe. But there were people that didn't in his time, so he was scorned for it and put to death for it. And they continued to make it into something of a religion, and where you were fearing God and fearing Jesus. They don't want you to fear them. They want you to understand that they're there to love you, not to fear you and put you into some sort of hell. For goodness sake, yeah. I was stood about 3 feet away from Jesus when I went into the trance years ago. And the house vibrated and all the lights switched on in the house and the doors flew open, the internal doors in the woman's house. I thought, well, there was no earthquake. It wasn't, because an earthquake wouldn't switch all the lights on and open all the doors like they did and still keep our doors shut. But I saw him. He stood about 3 or 4 feet away from me. To the left, we were in these clouds, and he had long brunette cascading waves that came down to his collar length, and a beard and a moustache, and the most beautiful blue eyes. I thought, well, if Jesus was, if he was of that origin, he probably would have had brown eyes. But when I spoke to a woman that understood about those times and the languages and things, she said, no, some of those people on a rare occasion would have blue eyes. And I thought, I believe so. I saw him. It was so clear, I can't forget it. And he had a cream kind of robe on. It was just plain, nothing to it, nothing else, just this plain robe. I couldn't see his feet. They were in the mist of the clouds that surrounded us. There was nothing else there, just him and me. And I'll never forget it as long as I live. And he just looked at me. He didn't even say anything. I thought, well, what did you want of me? And then before I got a chance to communicate, I was back in my body, so in the trance. But I think he must have said, this is your journey, and I want you to believe in yourself and know that you will spread my word around, that spirituality is what I'm about. You can sit in a church and pray, and you can go home and cook your dinner, but do that, spread the light of the afterlife around the world. Yes, do. And I think that they realise that there is an afterlife. It's just that they don't believe in communication after that. But they want to communicate with us. And if they didn't, and they always send us signs. Why would someone who loved you like that send you a sign yet be evil? Why?
No.
Couldn't make it out. When my mother visited me, it's nothing of an evilness. It was the most beautiful thing. And just take note of the signs that they send you. That's what I'll say. If you ask them to send you signs, they will send you them all right. They will. You just got to believe in it and not think it's coming from your own mind, because they usually send the signs when you least expect it.
I would like to say something about Jesus, just a little. It wasn't a dream. I felt him in the morning. I was so uplifted because I was in France in my dream. You know the old king. I don't remember. They took their heads. What, do you
Yes.
remember? Yeah, Ludwig the 13th or 14th. Do you know who that is?
I think so. I'm useless at
Yeah,
history.
he lived before, and I was there in my dream, and I could see the king in there, and he had a big wig on him. You know, they had that in those days.
Yeah.
And the lady in the dream said, "You can't come in here," and I said, "Well, I don't want to come in here." So I found a child book,
Yeah.
only with pictures, and I lifted it. And there was Jesus, and he was sitting in the desert, and he had nothing. And then the dream told me that the king, he had a false a power, because hair is power. You know, the
Yeah.
wig, it wasn't real. But Jesus, he didn't need all this gold and you know. Do you understand?
Yeah, that's right. He
He
needed
was,
nothing but love.
yeah, and he was
Great.
sitting in the desert, and the king, he had all this gold in the roof, and he didn't even have his own hair because he had a wig. And next morning, I felt so uplifted after
Wow.
this dream.
That's amazing.
So it was like he told me that the material is nothing, because
Yeah, that's
Jesus,
yeah.
yeah,
And it's just something to serve us while we're here, because we need things. We need to be clothed. We need to
yeah,
live in houses and have nice things in it. But when you go across, he's saying you don't need any of that. You just become love, and you don't need anything. And when I was standing there was nothing. No people, no buildings, no nothing. I'm not saying heaven is like that, because
no,
go further in. I was only allowed so far, but there was just him and nothing.
mm,
Plain road, and it was the most beautiful experience, just like you had.
mm.
Yeah. So
Yes, it's wonderful feelings when you get them.
it is. I mean, the fact that you've had a similar experience in dream state, where he's
Mm,
actually come to you in your dream and told you that you don't
mm,
need anything in life, and as long as you've got love, you'll be happy.
mm.
And that's just amazing. Yeah. And I've
Yeah.
had that experience.
Well, Elaine, I'm not going to tire you sit here all day, but I want to thank you very, very much for letting me ask you all these questions,
That's all right.
and for Jonathan coming. And I will, of course, put this out on YouTube. I'm going to ask my son's
Yeah.
girlfriend to help me, and then I will, of course, send it to you as well.
That's great. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, and thank
Yeah.
you for doing this morning. You know, it's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. And I hope you understand. I hope you understand my English.
You speak perfect English. It's very good. There's nothing wrong with it at all.
No. Actually, I was born in Ireland, but
Yeah.
I moved to Sweden when I was 6, so I became more Swedish.
Oh,
So
it's amazing. So you've got Irish as well. I've got Irish. What do you call it? Ancestry in my
yeah,
family. I think my great grandfather was connected to Northern Ireland. So yes. So you've
yeah,
got a connection to Ireland as well. That's
yeah.
lovely.
I was born in Derry.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Londonderry it was then. I don't know if
Yes,
it's
that's right.
London. Yeah.
Amazing.
So
I didn't know that.
yes, my mother's Irish, so
Yeah,
and
that's
my
a beautiful place. That is. It's
yeah,
spiritual there. Just magical, that place.
very.
Yeah. Well,
Well, you know one thing, Elaine. So nothing goes wrong now. On the 13th of April, I'm going to have you again. You remember that?
yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So at not in the interview, but I'm going to have you with the 3 other persons because I booked
Okay.
you. Yeah.
I look forward to it then.
Yeah. So thank you very much, and have a lovely day. I hope you have as nice weather as we have here.
Yes, we seem to. Yeah, I think it's still.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's almost like summer here.
I know. It's the weather's turned really nice the past few days. Let's
Yeah.
hope it continues for you as well.
Yeah.
What
And
a
have a
lovely window.
Yeah. Have a lovely, lovely day.
And you.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Let's see here.